Hey y'all, it's Ashley with another layout for the May 2014 Hip Kit Club. So here is the sketch that I'm be using. It is done by Ashley Horton, and she's also a design team member. And I love the background. I love the three pictures and then the larger embellishment elements. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be paying attention to as I get started on my layout today. So I put a white background there. I'm actually not going to end up with a white background because it just doesn't bounce enough from the page. Like the other elements don't bounce enough from the page for me. And so I am going to change that out here in a little bit. But first I'm matting my photos on this cardstock that we got in our kit. It almost looks sage green on paper, but it does have a little bit of a mint tone to it. I really, really love this paper. And I just did it for kind of a small I just did it for a small border just to give it a little bit more dimension on the page and just a little bit more interest. So if you saw the sketch, you remember the polka dots behind the three photos. So kind of the way I like to use sketches is I just like to get some really, really good ideas from it, kind of like the layout, just the way that the layout's going to go, but I don't actually copy every single thing from it, which is why I love sketches. And I don't use them that often. I wish I see them all the time, and I pin them on Pinterest, and I mean to use them, and for some reason I just never do. But I had so much fun creating this layout, and I never probably would have put a layout together like this had I not seen Ashley Horton's sketch that she did for our challenge this month. So I really, really loved that. So what I'm doing is I've already matted my photos. I'm using that Dear Lizzie paper kind of as my pattern for the background instead of the polka dots. Here's where I'm going to bring in pattern paper instead of a white background or a plain cardstock background. I'm going to switch back and forth from this pink paisley paper that's yellow to the Amy Tangerine paper that has the geometric, like diamond looking pattern on it. And I decided to go with the gray pattern because I think it's a little bit more subtle, and I love the yellow paper, but I didn't want to use the whole thing for the background just because I do love it so much. And I think I actually have another sheet of this Amy Tangerine paper anyway, so I was okay with using that as a full background. So I do want to use that yellow because I have in the tag, the Amy Tangerine tag that's sewn. I actually took the tags apart though because I wanted just the element that said today and then underneath that to be part of my page, but I didn't want the whole tag to be because I wanted to use the tag in other areas. As you can see, I've matted one of my photos on a tag, and then I've actually peaked a tag from the top there. So that today piece has yellow in it, so I wanted to bring yellow out in a few other areas. I'm going to pop I don't know if I'm going to pop all my pictures up or if I just pop this one picture up. I think I may just pop this one picture. I'm not quite sure. I kind of know where I'm going with this layout at this point, so I'm starting to adhere things together and trying to get that yellow piece on pretty straight, which the easiest things always seem the most difficult for me. I don't know why. But here's where I'm starting to add some of the larger embellishments. So in the sketch, she puts a lot of speech bubbles. I say a lot. She's put some bigger elements like speech bubbles by each picture, I guess, which would be the three clusters. I'm actually not going to use speech bubbles. I think maybe I use one. But I am using larger chipboard embellishments, and those came from the pink paisley, I believe, Hello Sunshine. I want to say Hello Sunshine. I think that was the pack, and it was the 3 layers of chipboard embellishments, and they are awesome. I love them. I'm also taking from that same chipboard collection, and I'm going to go ahead and add, so I want to mat this on the white paper. I don't know why I actually end up doing that. I think it's just because I like white. I wanted white to be part of it, but I didn't want to do it like I always do. So what I did was just I took my adhesive and cut down the paper on 2 different sides, and I'm going to mat it on there to where only 2 sides of the white are showing. Again, I've seen other people do that. I don't really know why I wanted to do it that way, but I did want to change it up a little bit, and I liked the way that it looked. So that's kind of why I chose to do that. So now I am trying to I guess, mimic arrows at the bottom. So in the sketch, there are arrows going across the page underneath the focal point. And so what I did was I took my triangle punch. It's just a regular Hobby Lobby punch. And I used some of the pattern papers. This one in particular is Amy Tangerine. And I just thought it was too much orange for the bottom. I liked this paper, but as far as the arrows going across, it just looks too uniform for me, and I didn't like that. So what I decided to do was add the orange in a few different places, and then add some different colors there at the bottom just to kind of change it up a little bit. At first I thought about doing just one just to kind of be different, but then I decided let's just go ahead and I know that's still uniform, but I think that looks much better than just having all orange. And really I could have done a bunch of different pattern papers, but I didn't want this page to have like all these wild colors. I did want it to be a little bit more soft, even though I am using some bright and bold colors, but just I didn't want it to stand out like crazy, if that makes any sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I wanted it to be a little bit more clean than other layouts that I've done in the past, and I think if I would have done all of these different colors, it wouldn't have turned out as clean. But I do like the way that it came out, and I hope you guys like it too. So as I was taking those tags apart, the Amy Tangerine tags, the original thread did come apart, and I did that with my last layout if you saw it last week. So what I did was just took the thread off and sewed it down again just with my own sewing machine, and that worked out just fine. So in the sketch there's journaling, and so I could have printed out my own journaling, but what I did was I just took some tiny text stickers that said some things that I really wanted to paste on my layout, and then I matted them on that same paper that I matted my photos on, and that's my journaling for today. So now I'm just adding some interest by, of course, adding India ink. That's super surprising for me, but in the sketch there are I think there's 3 clusters of splatter, if I'm not mistaken, but there is splatter on the page, and so of course I chose India ink for that. But that pretty much completes my layout. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you gain some inspiration. Here are the close-ups. You can see those tiny text words right there matted, and there's where I did my own sewing on that tag, and then that is it. Have a great week.